Hey, thanks for checking out the film room. We're about to break down a 1-3-1 defense and 4 ways to score against it. So first, it's important to understand the principles. The top man on a 1-3-1 is trying to make that ball move back and forth, and those passes need to go over the top. Your 2 outside players are trying to make that exact same thing happen with passes to the corner. They want them to go over the top. Your middle man is going to take all high post stuff away, and then your bottom man has the hardest job. He's got to run baseline to baseline and try and cover up anything that gets to the corner. So here's a look at it from a player's view. You've got this top man that's really trying to turn the ball. You've got those middle 3 guys that are really making it difficult to throw anything over the top. And then you've got that safety underneath the rim that has to work side to side. Being able to see a 1-3-1 defense from this angle, I think helps people understand why it's so hard to score against it and how the ball can just get stagnant and not really ever penetrate the paint. And another thing that coaches will do is they will disguise a 2-3 zone by starting in a 1-3-1 setup. So you can look at this defense and it looks exactly like a 1-3-1, but as soon as this first pass is made, the defense actually drops back into a 2-3 for the rest of the possession. So I show you this because I don't want for you to think that you're playing against a 1-3-1 and it's actually a 2-3 and you just find yourself frustrated. So I'm going to give you 2 keys that can help you decipher whether it's a 1-3-1 or a 2-3. So even though Oklahoma State is set up in a 1-3-1 formation, notice that the top man who's guarding the ball is squared up with the ball handler. In a 1-3-1, they're almost always taught to shade to one side or the other and split the court, and the fact that he's squared up is a tell. But the real giveaway is the bottom man. In a 1-3-1, the bottom guy has to run from sideline to sideline, and there's no way that they're going to put a 5-man down there to do it. So if you start the possession and there's a 5 down there, it's probably 2-3. If there's a guard or a wing down there, then you probably have a 1-3-1. And the last thing you need to know about the 1-3-1 zone is the type of pressure they're going to apply. Most 1-3-1s are just out there trying to keep the ball outside of the 3-point line. It's all token pressure, and they're trying to keep you passing the ball back and forth across the top of the key. There are other 1-3-1s that are going to be aggressive, and they will almost trap every opportunity they have. There's going to be 2 on the ball constantly, high hands trying to make you play out of control, speed you up, and turn you over. So you need to find out early on in the game or through film what type of pressure you're going to see in this 1-3-1 and be prepared accordingly. So the first way that we beat a 1-3-1 is we need to get corner touches. The reason that the wings guard the way that they do is because they don't want the ball to go to the corner. It's the most vulnerable place for the ball to get to. And the reason why is because corner touches trigger the bottom low man to sprint over and help. And that's exactly what we want to force this defense to do. Make this bottom man cover corner to corner, because eventually the defense is going to break down and you're going to get an open shot. In this clip, just watch the low man in this zone and see how much he is responsible to cover on this one possession, and it still leads to an open catch and shoot 3. Seems pretty simple, right? The reason it's not is because the wing players are taught to not let any straight line passes go to the corner. So getting it there is the challenge. And you don't always have to shoot it once it gets to the corner. You can also drive. And when you drive, if you get 2 people to guard 1, then you're going to have an advantage. You make the right read and somebody's going to be open. West Virginia does a nice job of throwing this initial skip pass to the corner, and it triggers the same thing. 2 people guarding 1. He does a great job of driving the bad closeout, and when he gets downhill, the defense collapses and he kicks it out for a rhythm 3. So if you're playing one of those top 2 guard positions, you need to aggressively be looking to throw the ball to the corner. It might take a bounce pass or one over the top or a ball fake, but you've got to find a way to get it to that corner because you're going to have options once you get it there. So I would highly encourage you, if you're a coach, put a shooter in the corner and tell your guards to move the ball around and try and get it past that wing, and you're going to get yourself some open looks. Now, if you're struggling to do this organically, here's a play you can run to get a corner 3. Your shooter's going to be on this bottom side. He's going to pass it and cut through to the corner. As that's happening, you need to screen the middle man and you need to seal the bottom man. Drive and attack that wing. There won't be anybody left for the corner, and if you can get the ball there, you've got yourself a shot. And corner touches can create opportunities for our second way to attack 1-3-1 zone, and that is driving gaps. As we've learned, corner touches often create this two people guarding one scenario, and if you can get the ball back out, there's going to be large gaps for you to drive through. If you can drive and get to paint against a 1-3-1, you're going to have opportunities to kick it out for threes or just score it yourself on the drive. Now, I know guards get intimidated to drive against a 1-3-1 because of that middle defender, but if you can attack the paint, you're going to force the defense to collapse, and that's what creates open kick-out threes. On this drive right here, notice how there are 3 people guarding the ball, and if we can get our shooter to the corner and our other shooter to the wing, there's going to be an open catch-and-shoot 3 on the kick-out. But even when that's not open because of the bad spacing, there's another drive, the defense collapses, and look how wide open this pass is to the short corner that the offense just misses. You have to remember that this defense is designed to keep the ball above the free throw line, so we need to make it our goal to get it to the corner and the high post area. Even something as simple as catching it and taking one hard bounce to the free throw area is going to get that defense to collapse, and when they collapse, those kick-out threes are open. The next way to attack a 1-3-1 zone is to get room touches, and that's the area outside the paint as close to the baseline as possible. Some people refer to this as the dunker or the short corner. And this concept is very similar to getting the ball to the corner. It's where the defense is vulnerable, and if you can get it to that short corner area, you have a lot of options, and one of those options is the defense collapses and you kick it out for a 3. Another thing to consider is the baseline runner is usually a guard or a wing. So if you can throw the ball to the dunker spot, you're going to have a mismatch, and oftentimes that big can literally just go right to the rim and score over the smaller defender. Now, I'm not saying you're going to be able to score one-on-one every single possession, but this is a key that you should be able to take advantage of a couple different times a game against this defense. Isolate this matchup, throw the ball high, and let your bigger offensive player just score over the top. Now, if you want to play to run to get the ball to the room, here's an option for you. You can run a shooter to the corner to pull out this bottom defender with him, and then you can have a post player come and set a cross screen or a seal against that outside wing, and that's going to leave this room area open. They just turned it over. Here they run it later in the game, and you can see it from a better angle. The shooter takes off to the corner, and this time it actually pulls out the wing defender. The 5-man is going to seal the baseline defender, and then they're just going to find this sweet spot to throw it over the top to the room, and they end up getting an and one. Another way to get this same look is to get the ball to the top of the key. If you can get the middle guy to guard him, it's the best case scenario, but you're going to seal the baseline defender and then have the corner wing sneak to the same side room, and it overloads the defense. Now, this last key is the most difficult to take advantage of, and it's high post touches. Even though there's a defender that's supposed to sit there and take those passes away, if you work in and out of that space, you can still fit the ball in there, and the key is to throw bounce passes when you do it. The 3 defenders across this zone can really intimidate people from wanting to throw penetrating passes, and the bounce pass is the neutralizer. And it's the same thing when you're trying to throw passes to the room. Even if those hands are up, a good bounce pass is going to get through a defense, and it's going to get you touches at the high post and in the room, and that collapses the defense and creates open scoring opportunities. Hopefully you now have several different strategies when going against a 1-3-1, whether you're a coach and you're game prepping or you're a player and you want to be more efficient and effective when you see this zone. And don't forget to watch these 2 videos that I did breaking down the 2-3 zone the same way. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. We've got plenty of content coming out all the time. Thanks for coming through. We'll see you next time in the film room.